Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video I want to talk about the running back position for the Washington Commanders, and could Bill Croskey-Merritt be inactive on game days as some reporters have suggested at. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. Let's get right into it, and let's get to 16,000 subscribers before the start of the season. So Bill Croskey-Merritt had a really good preseason, but some reporters, and Kai mentioned it on his podcast before, that the Washington Commanders might have him inactive on some days. So this is not necessarily me saying it, and this isn't even John Keim saying it will happen. He's just saying it's a possibility because they have 4 running backs on the roster: Bill Croskey-Merritt, Austin Ekeler, who certainly will be active on game days, Chris Rodriguez, who you would assume is going to be active, and then Jeremy McNichols. So that's 4 running backs, and all 4 running backs can play. You usually do not have 4 running backs active on game days. So maybe they will keep 4 running backs active, or maybe they will on certain days, but there might be some games where they decide to keep 1 inactive. And Ekeler obviously is not going to be inactive. He is the guy that's going to be your main pass catcher, can also run the football effectively as well. You got Jeremy McNichols, who is a really good special teams back, and then also can pass block. An example is the play against the Cincinnati Bengals where they threw the ball to Terry McLaurin. He also, can pass catch a little bit, if I didn't mention that before, and run a little bit. Like, he's not super effective at both, but he can do it. He did make big plays in both of those situations last year for the Commanders. And Chris Rodriguez is the guy who has, more experience than Bill Croskey-Merritt, and has done it in the past, has a 100-yard game under his belt. If not, it's in the 90s. So he has a chance to really get a lot of carries. I'm not saying Bill Croskey-Merritt isn't, but if they want to keep 3 running backs active, they might decide to sit Bill. What I would do is I would personally keep both of them active and really see who pops. And Keim kind of mentioned that maybe depending on the game, depending on which player is better for that game and against that defense and what the Commanders are trying to run, they might keep a certain guy active and this another guy inactive for that game, and then maybe switch it up for the next game. So maybe week 1 they keep Rodriguez active and Bill inactive, and the next game they keep Bill active and Rodriguez inactive. I don't know if that's gonna be the best thing to do, especially if you're doing that every week. And if these guys are your bell cows, both of them, but each week one guy's out, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I would say you might have to either keep 4 running backs active and just bite the bullet on another position and hope that you don't have to dip to your your 3rd string tackle in a certain game, which sometimes you might, but early on in the season you don't. So maybe keep your 4 running backs active until you really get a good sense of who is that guy at the running back position, because all these guys can play. Ekeler is the easiest. He's not he's not going to be inactive because he can pass catch. He's a good runner as well. And you would like to see Bill Croskey-Merritt. We'll go ahead and look him up right here just to look at some of his stats this year in fantasy football. But you would like to have him play. He's your 7th round rookie and has a chance to be a good back in this league. But you could argue the same thing with Chris Rodriguez. He was drafted in the 6th round, not this year and not last year, but a couple years ago. So maybe you want to see what he can do, because he hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities. But when he has performed at a, not a high level, but a decent level. So I do understand both sides, but I also wouldn't mind just keeping both of those guys as options and just doing a little bit of a 1-2 punch. Some carries you give to Bill, some carries you give to Chris Rodriguez, just to vary it up, feed the hot hand, whoever that is, and hopefully at the end of this season, you're giving the ball to Jacory mostly. And I do understand their thought process here, because they're like, all right, we have Ekeler, who is going to get some carries and is also our pass catching back. We have Jacory and Bill, who are mostly runners. So are we going to have enough? And we have Jeremy McNichols too. Are we going to have enough mouths to feed there? And do we need to really keep an extra guy active on the roster for game day? So I understand, but it would be nice if they could have them all active in the beginning, but just don't. The main purpose of this video is don't be surprised. Do not be surprised if one of these guys is inactive on game day. If you see that week 1, an hour and a half before kickoff, Bill Croskey-Merritt is inactive, don't be shocked. Don't be, going crazy. Come back to this video and, see what I was saying, and you'll understand it a little bit more. Again, I'm not saying this is what I want, because I really want to see what Bill can do this week against the New York Giants. I mean, we're in football season right now, and we'll talk about a few things to watch for in the next few days in terms of getting ready for week 1, what you guys need to watch for. Didn't make any videos the last couple of days. Been a little bit sick, still a little bit sick, but doing this in the halftime of the Virginia Tech football game against South Carolina. But what to watch this week for the Commanders is really injury stuff. Terry McLaurin should be good to go, and might make a Brian Robinson video later, but Terry McLaurin should be good to go, but just watch out for that Wednesday. Is he fully there? Because Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, those are the practice days. If you start on if you're playing on a Sunday, you get the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday practices are open to the media, and also they have to give an injury report. So you see, is Terry even going to be on the injury report? And then we'll see about Noah Brown, who I'm expecting to play, Brandon Coleman, who I'm expecting to play, and then same thing. Honestly, I don't know who won't play. Sam Cosmi, he's obviously not going to play. He is on the PUP / reserve list, so he'll be out for the first 4 games. After that, he'll be good to go. Bill Croskey-Merritt was dealing with an injury, with a shoulder injury, and that's why they said he didn't play that game, but he's going to play. The Commanders are in a good spot injury-wise. I was a little bit concerned a couple weeks ago when none of these injuries were progressing, but as of late, they have been progressing. One guy, the real one to watch, is Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota has been dealing with the tendonitis for a while now in his ankle or, whatever, in his heel. I don't know. But, that is, a little bit scary stuff, because it is, something that can, get re-aggravated. So you want to give it as much rest as possible. But you want to have your backup quarterback for this game. And Wednesday will be a big, factor. Is he, if he's DNP, which did not practice, he's not playing, I would say. If he's a limited participant, then he's probably playing. So I would say what they'll do maybe for week 1 is they'll have him as a limited participant, whatever. And then after that, because, you hope he doesn't play, knock on wood, he doesn't, Jaden doesn't get hurt, and, Marcus doesn't play, and that gives him a whole nother week of rest. And then starting next week, I could see them just giving him a Veterans Day off every Wednesday like they do with Bobby Wagner and, Zach Ertz, and then maybe Laramie Tunsil this year. I think that's definitely a good strategy to have. So those will be the things that I will be talking about in this week. Any injury updates, you guys will hear them from me Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe a preview video, and any other things you want me to post, comment down below. Things you guys want to see. Injury updates though, and maybe practice updates will be there for you guys, because week 1, we need to give you guys all the information. I want to talk as much as possible about the Washington Commanders. Week 1, New York Giants is not, I know people think it's a super easy game, but it's a division rival, and they have some good players. Yes, we're better than them. We have a way better quarterback than them. So, yes, I do think we're going to win, and you should feel like we're going to win. But it's not a gimme game. It's week 1. Anything can happen any week, but especially week 1, and especially against your division rival. So it's a big game. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.